Andrew here again with the Oceans team coming live from the Blue Ocean Film Festival and Conservation event in Monterey. This is going to be an action-packed week filled with amazing films, informative classes, and exciting events. We want to give those of you on here virtually a chance to check it out if you couldn't make it. And we wanted to bring in a couple of perspectives from the film festival. First of all, let me introduce my friend here. This is Kate.
Hi, Andrew. How are you?
Good. Also want to throw it down to the downstairs. This is Mira and Don Walsh. Can you guys say hi?
Hi.
All right. We also have Jerry, a guest from Duke University. Can you give us a hello? Yes, from Duke.
Jerry, are you underwater?
Hardly.
Always out of focus. You ought to get an Apple product. They focus pretty well.
I want an Apple product.
All right. Well, before too much to do, I'm going to throw it over to Ken.
Hi there.
All right. Where are you joining us from?
From Monterey Bay Aquarium, just down the road from Blue.
That's fantastic. Now I'm going to give it back to Don. Don, can you tell us a little bit about what the Blue Ocean Film Festival is?
Well, it's I think it's a convergence of imagery and people interested in images that both move and stay fixed. And if you were here, you could see in the lobby of the hotel a wonderful display of stuff that makes you want to throw away your personal camera. It's so good. And I've just been looking at the still imagery, so that's sort of square one. That's how it all starts, an underwater film festival. And then the folks this year have tied in or converged with it ocean conservation themes. We have a conference meeting sort of in parallel to all this fair of imagery. So it makes a very rich mix. And I think it's kind of a neat idea because most film festivals are that's it. You got film, you look at pictures, and you go away and you've been entertained. But here we've got real discussions of important things like ocean acidification and so on. We even have a really nice display of manned submersibles out in the lobby and outside the front of the building. So you can come down and look at these inner spaceships. That's pretty neat. So it's a hybrid meeting. I think this is probably the first time they've ever tried to do it with so many complex themes together, but at least with a sample one day, it looks pretty good to me.
That's fantastic. What's that behind you?
That's one of your staff here, I think, from Mission Blue. It's a couple of females, actually.
I was actually talking about the upright displays behind you.
Oh. Seahorse.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mira, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Mission Blue?
Yeah. So I'm Mira McGrew, and we're here just standing in front of the Google Liquid Galaxy, and we're taking a tour around the world's ocean. I work for Mission Blue. I am the website editor, and I'm here at Blue trying to connect with people, learn from all of the amazing people that are here, and share the mission of Mission Blue.
Awesome. Are you going to be live tweeting or live blogging from the events, that sort of thing?
Yeah, check out mission-blue.org, and we'll be doing daily updates, and then check us out on Facebook and on Twitter, and you can follow along and virtually be here even if you can't travel to Monterey.
That's fantastic.
And we've got our hostess right here, off camera, Jenifer.
Jennifer is
eating
here
a huge chocolate chip cookie. So she's on a sugar high now, and I think she's going to have a lot to say.
Hi, Jennifer. How's it going?
Hey, Andrew. Welcome to Blue. We're excited to have Don in our Liquid Galaxy.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to bring it back to here. Andrew again. I'm here in the command center of the Blue Ocean Film Festival. In this room, it's the staff room. We also have the press room next door. We also have the Oceans Live room next door. It's a big hubbub of action and amazing stuff that's going on. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Oceans Live and what's that all about?
Sure. So the mission of Oceans Live is to bring the ocean to communities nationwide, because not everybody gets a chance to see the ocean every day, and our nation is so big and quite landlocked that we try to bring live activities, expeditions to the bottom of the ocean, expeditions from habitats to the public through the internet. And so we also use a multimedia approach to do it as well. So this is actually appropriate for us to work with Google and doing these fun things. But if you aren't able to be here at the Blue Ocean Film Festival, we actually will be streaming live from the Blue Film Festival at oceanslive.org. And you can see us and check us out every day at 12 Pacific time. And we will be interviewing amazing people such as Don Walsh himself, who has traveled to the bottom of the world's ocean. And check out his interview on Wednesday, and then also his panel. We are covering his panel on Wednesday live, and there's a conservation panel with Prince Albert II that we're going to be covering as well on Wednesday. And then also there's the Celebrities for the Ocean panel that we're going to be covering too on Thursday. And then
Uh-oh. Somebody stepped on something.
Someone stepped on something.
Andrew, you've gone dead.
All right, so we're back. Sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulties here and there. What was the last part you heard?
it was the excitement about the big
She
blue.
said I'd gone to the bottom of the ocean. I wanted to correct her. There's no trick in that.
Well, real quickly, the last thing that we have that's live is on Friday. We are going to be hosting the awards ceremony. So you'll be able to watch via your home internet or here locally on AMP2, the local cable network, all the awards ceremony. So check us out every single day, starting tomorrow through Saturday, every day live at noon, and then also the panels and the live awards ceremony from the blue carpet at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Well, thanks. That's great to know. I'm going to throw it over to Jerry.
Oh, quite immensely. I worked out in San Francisco with a marine conservation group for a few years before here, and it's just great now to be able to still link into some of those cool events that are happening in the Bay Area.
Awesome. And what do you go to Duke University, right?
Mm-hmm. But we have a marine lab in the Southern Outer Banks in Beaufort, North Carolina, and I'm working in the Marine Geospatial Ecology group, directed by Pat Halpin, working on marine vertebrate movement.
That's fantastic. So, in working with those communities, do you ever find that events like Blue Ocean Film Festival would be useful to attend, to make contacts, to spread the word, that sort of thing?
I think absolutely. I think one of the greatest things about being in a young researcher right now in science is how cheap some tools are to be able to tell your scientific stories and engage people well beyond the readership of a scientific journal. And so we're actually working quite actively at building multimedia content and video shorts and films to submit to film festivals to try to keep the message going and explain our research and why it's important.
Well, that's great. So in those efforts, I mean, you can't obviously make it to the film festival this year. I'm assuming that you're going to be paying attention to what's going on through all the various social media things that we're doing, the live broadcasting that some of our teams and partners are doing. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the plan. Day one with the ramp up and follow it to its culmination.
Awesome. Don't forget to tell all of your professors, all of your friends, and all your family all about it.
I'll blast it up on the social media.
And watch it on oceanslive.org.
Definitely. I'd now like to take it over to Ken. Hey, Ken, can you tell us a little bit about what you do at the aquarium and what's going on there?
Thanks for having us here, and it's great to have Blue back in the neighborhood. It was a thrill when Blue came here for the first time 2 years ago, and it really helps the aquarium advance our mission, which is inspire conservation of the oceans. We can do it through live exhibits and encouraging people to get out on the water, but to be able to tell those stories with film and photos is just another great way to reach people, particularly those who aren't on the ocean. So we are going to be hosting some of the Blue events, and a lot of our folks are going to be out there attending. We're doing our part to get people inspired to make a difference through the exhibits, through programs like our Seafood Watch initiative that you can carry with you and make ocean-friendly seafood choices on via your iPhone or your Android or mobile sites. And since seafood is one of the big ways people connect to the oceans, it's a big part of what we do. And then because we don't want to just have animals on exhibit, but we want to make sure that there's a place for those animals to survive and thrive in the wild, we're really deeply involved with research. So, in fact, there was a paper that came out yesterday in Nature on the fact that as the ocean warms, a lot of marine life is going to be losing its traditional habitat and shifting to new areas, and there are going to be some winners and some losers. And one of our scientists who works with great white sharks and other species is a co-author on that paper. So we're continuing to do research on things like that and sea otters to make sure that the oceans stay healthy for them for the future.
Well, that's great endeavors. Is there any, I mean, with some of the passes here at the Blue Ocean Film Festival, we actually are able to go to the aquarium and check out some of the exhibits. Are there any anything that we can't miss while we're there?
Well, you're definitely going to want to see our newest special exhibition, the Jellies Experience. It's our summer of love kind of psychedelic twist on jellies. We were the pioneers with jellyfish exhibits, and as I say, scuba divers can go out and see them and be among them and pretty safely with wetsuits. But here you can see a lot of varieties, including some species that our staff just cultured for the first time, like crown jellies that are on exhibit. They're just blowing my mind. They are so beautiful.
Can you tell us a little bit about crown jellies? What are those specifically?
They are a tropical jelly. They've got kind of a literal crown on their heads, kind of a Dr. Seuss-like tuft coming out of the center of their head and a raised bell around that, and just fascinating, kind of a pale magenta, bluish, pinkish color. Looks sort of like the flying spaghetti monster to me.
We might get in a little bit of trouble mentioning this flying spaghetti monster or something.
You never know. I have to give a shout out to one of our neighbors up the road, Jay Nichols, who's a great ocean scientist and conservationist, and the leader of Blue Mind and the Blue Marble movement. And I have my blue marble here, and I encourage everyone to be activists for the oceans and get a blue marble and carry Jay's campaign and protect this blue marble, our planet ocean, as Sylvia calls it.
And we will actually have Jay on Oceans Live on Saturday.
Well, that's fantastic. We got a little bit of connection going here. Don, I'm going to throw it back over to you. Is there anything that you found at the film festival and the conservation festival so far? I know it's only the first day, but anything that really stands out that people just really need to know about? Ooh, you seem to be muted. Don, hold on for 1 second. I'm going to bring it back to me. Hopefully, Mira or somebody can unmute him. But we are basically just kind of really enjoying all the different activities that are happening here at the Blue Ocean Film Festival. Behind me, you can see various people who are working on things, including Deb. Debbie, can you just wave? Hey. Hey, everybody. She is the woman behind all of this. She is, and her team have worked very hard and countless hours to put all this together, and it's just really fantastic. Don, sorry about that. You ready to talk about it?
Yeah, you asked me what my brief experience time here, what I've seen, and what I've learned. What I've learned is I've had 3 television interviews, 1 working breakfast, 1 press interview. I haven't really gotten out and see anything, so I'm asking the wrong guy. I'm just one of the performers, and I haven't had a chance to see any of the stuff. I plan to do it, but I'd be less than honest to tell you that I've had great revelations since I got up at 5 this morning.
Wow. Well, after all that, you might even need a little bit of a nap. Is there anything that you're looking forward to specifically?
Hey there, young lady.
No? Anything you're looking forward to?
We've got a pregnant boss now.
Uh-oh. No? Well, we're okay. Jerry, anything that I've heard that Dr. Sylvia Earle actually went to Duke. Is that accurate?
Yeah, she went to Duke, and she still maintains the legacy here. actually invited her. The PhD students here at the Duke community have something we call the Sutherland speaker, or in the back doors it's called, the super speaker. And Sylvia Earle was our invitation last year, and she, graciously accepted and came down, worked with the students for a few days, and gave some really, awe-inspiring talks and interactions. It was an incredible moment for my PhD career.
That's fantastic. We should all be so lucky to have some, visionaries come to our classes when we're studying. Well, honestly, this is about the amount of time that we have for our hangout. Unfortunately,
Andrew, actually, we should talk about how we have these 3D models in Liquid Galaxy that are playing behind us.
Sounds good. Jenifer, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so what you can see behind us, we've made a tour of the 3D models we have live in Google Earth. And Don, do you recognize that?
Yep, Bismarck.
So that was the Bismarck. Which have you been to? So you can sort of go there virtually and get a sense of what these places look like underwater without getting wet. This is the USS Oriskany off of Florida. And then it sort of flies you to different places on Earth and lets you sort of fly around them. Next we're going to go to underwater monuments.
Lost City of Atlantis.
Lost City of Atlantis. And off Florida.
That's where Atlantis was.
There you go. Florida. Amber, can you take us to the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary?
It's not Amber, that's Jenifer.
Oh, Jenifer, I'm sorry.
And this is the shark monument. And I was hoping we would get to, we actually have a model of the Trieste. Put in there for Don.
Isn't there also a model of the Titanic and Mission Aquarius?
We do, and we've got a sperm whale here off New Zealand.
Wow.
Trying to attack a giant squid.
That's a giant squid.
So there's some playful things you can do with the models, and then hopefully we're going to get back to the Trieste and can pause there, perhaps. We also have some other tours we can show later, but we've made some models. And Don, you've been to the Titanic, right? So we've got the Titanic and the Trieste. Here's the Titanic, and can we pause here? So do you want to tell us a little bit about your dive and where you went?
Well, we actually, I don't know, can I step back to this thing?
Yeah.
Because they made so many dives on the Titanic, we always come down right about here, and then we go over to the bow, where that's the money shot that everybody's seen of the very front part of the ship, the anchor, and things of that sort. And then you just kind of proceed along here and explore the decks. You can look through there's a cabin window right here. You can actually see Captain Smith's bathtub. It's still there. And work your way back here. This is the boat deck. The officers' quarters were along here. And then we get to where the ship was broken. And this is like a giant piñata, because when she sank, she broke in two. And I think you've probably seen Jim Cameron's program, a more recent one, about how it came apart. But basically, this part of the ship was all the galleys, the wine cellars, and all of that. So it broke in two, as I say, like a piñata. So you've got this huge debris field in here, and you can just sort of drive around there and see all of this stuff from the inside of the ship. And this is about 500 meters back to the stern section, and that's pretty well broken up. We used to be able to go under this counter of the stern here and see the three propellers. She had three propellers and one rudder, but that has fallen down because the ship's coming apart. It's being devoured by basically microbes, the rusticles we talk about, and they're basically eating the ship. And just over the about 12 years that I've been involved with dives there, it's the size of the ship and everything's diminished a lot. It's not going to be there. Another 50 years, it'll just be a pile of rust.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
My wife fixes things that are somewhat that tasty. Her pancakes are a lot like the rusticles. They love those pancakes.
Well,
Most of us will never get to go to the Titanic because only 2 subs right now can go there, right? The Mir.
Well, the 2 Russian Mir subs, yeah. This April of this year is the centennial, 100 years since the ship sank.
well, it's a very good thing that we have it in Google Earth and in the Liquid Galaxy so that people can view it and participate and get an experience of it from anywhere.
And then one other model, can we go to the Trieste? That we put in there for Don is a model of the Trieste, and we're hoping, Don, you can tell us a little bit about your experience actually going there, since I think only one other person alive has been there, James Cameron, in his vehicle this year.
Yeah.
And Don was with him when he went there, and this is the model. Go ahead, Don.
This is the bathyscaphe Trieste, and all it is an underwater balloon. This is the balloon part here. It's differently shaped because it has to be towed on the surface of the ocean. It was filled with 54,000 gallons of aviation gasoline, and then this is a cabin suspended beneath the balloon for the 2-person crew. And the word bathyscaphe, it comes from 2 Greek words meaning bathos, deep, scaphos, boat, deep boat. And it was built in 1953. It was retired in 1963.
Wow.
Right after its last mission, it was owned by the U.S. Navy from 1958 till 1963, and when it was retired, and its last mission was to investigate the lost nuclear submarine Thresher off of Boston, 8,000 feet, and then it was brought back to San Diego where its home base was and retired. And then the Navy built 2 more bathyscaphes Trieste, Roman numeral 2. And they served until 1984.
So what was it like when you went down to the deepest part of the ocean in the Trieste? Was it dark?
After about 500 feet, it was pitch black. So we were in, it was a 9-hour dive, so we were sort of like sitting in a dark closet for 9 hours.
And didn't you hear some kind of explosion?
Yeah, we had a window break at about 31,000 feet, but it wasn't a pressure boundary. It was just a piece of acrylic that had been squeezed, and it was in a metal frame, and it cracked in that frame.
And did that make you nervous at all? Or?
No, because at that depth, where the pressure's 5 tons per square inch, if it had been a real failure of the sub, we would have been dead instantly. So the fact that we could look at each other and wonder what was that, and everything with all the instruments and things said we were doing the right thing. Just continue to dive.
Ron, how many portholes did you have on the Trieste?
So we have a question here.
How many portholes did you have on the actual submersible that you could view through?
Well, there's one viewport right here.
Okay.
And it's 7 inches thick acrylic plastic, and that was it. Now
and it fits your face in there perfectly.
What?
And it fits just your face, right? It's small.
Very small. On the inside was just enough room for 1 eyeball.
Oh, wow.
And Jim Cameron's sub, which, 26 March of this year, he repeated this dive. He has just 1 viewport, but the interface was quite a bit bigger. I'd say maybe 3 or 4 inches across, so you could use both eyes.
Wow. That's incredible.
And you had to climb down inside?
Remember you asked about the window that broke? That was right here. And because you look out through the hatch, there's a small port in the hatch to see behind you here. And it was not a primary viewing port, that was this one. But there's a ladder inside here that you climb down, and then the hatch for the cabin was right here. So during the dive, this was just free flooding. So when that window broke, it didn't, no danger. We just didn't know at the time.
Honestly, from my perspective, I don't know about the rest of you, but if I heard a loud crash when I was deep underwater, I would definitely be nervous. So you're a much braver man than me.
Only my laundry man knew. We stirred up bottom sediment when we landed. So
Sorry, can you guys repeat that? Because it was a little hard to hear that.
What did he see? Did he see similar?
Yeah, he had good vision when he got down there. the design of his sub was a bit different, so he didn't stir at the bottom much.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your fantastic voyages in our oceans with us, and we really appreciate that. And we look forward to making more models to new places where Don goes next.
That's really great. Yeah, again, thank you very much, Don, for participating in our hangout today. We are, again, live broadcasting from the Blue Ocean Film Festival. Basically, Jenifer?
Yes?
Was there anything else that you wanted to cover with Liquid Galaxies or talk about Blue?
Well, I mean, we could definitely talk about the explore the ocean layer, and we have some content in there. I think they're over here. From Don's expedition, so maybe we could just show that briefly.
Awesome. And if people wanted to see things from the Explore the Ocean layer at home, where would they find that?
So if you want to explore the Ocean layer, you just open up and download the free Google Earth client, which is available in 32 languages, and there's an ocean folder in the left-hand panel. And then you can turn that on, and there'll be little circles that have educational content. And you can just click on the little circles, and there'll be hundreds of educational posts with our many, many partners, including the Smithsonian, National Geographic, NOAA, and many other groups, photographers, videographers, sharing their educational content. It's a little hard to see with this lighting, but you'd see a Nemo anemone fish and some anemones, and as we sort of fly around, you can see that basically there is a variety of content, and if you go to the Marianas Trench, where Don went, you'll see a picture of him, actually, after his historic dive from National Geographic 50 years ago. So that's very exciting, and we hope everyone can go on their own and explore the ocean virtually using this technology tool.
It's and I do have to say that it's a bit hypnotic watching the tour go through, because you just see all this aspect of Earth and ocean just fly over. And anybody who has a chance to, I definitely recommend checking out the Liquid Galaxy display, just because it is this immersive aspect that when you're inside of it, you feel like you're inside the ocean, or you feel like you're just right there wherever you end up. Ken, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about this type of information, about reaching people through film, through media, through new media such as Liquid Galaxies. As somebody who works at an aquarium that tries to educate people in regards to ocean and animal life and all what have you, can you talk a little bit about tools like this and how effective they are at teaching people?
Well, film and anything on the web is definitely a great tool for reaching people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even if they're not near the ocean. And we can get almost 2 million people a year coming through the exhibits and getting that live animal connection, and we certainly want people to get out and see the wildlife that is so abundant in Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. But for other times and for the depths of information, tools like these are absolutely fantastic. The aquarium and the folks in the Monterey Bay and the other national marine sanctuaries have worked with Google on the ocean layer and provided even some seafood watch information and marine life information. And this whole region is so rich, and it's one reason it's so great to have Blue in Monterey, because there are more than 24 marine research institutions between Santa Cruz and Monterey that are working with robotic submersibles, that are studying the ocean's top predators and plankton at the base of the food web, who are making the connections and helping provide the information that's filling our minds with the ideas that we need to save the oceans, and also populating vehicles like the films that are being made and like the work that Google's doing. So it's a great synergy with all of this happening in Monterey.
Well, we have one other participant here at Blue, Greg Stone from Conservation International, and we wanted to come in and we've got a piece of content from the education layer up with some beautiful butterfly fish, and we wanted maybe Greg to tell us a little bit about their work and how this can be a good educational tool potentially to take people virtually to the Phoenix Islands.
Yeah, well, what we have behind us here on the screen is, I was there when that picture was taken about 10 years ago, these beautiful butterfly fish. They look like flowers. It's like a bouquet of flowers hovering around the reef. And you don't actually see this kind of fish density anymore in the ocean. They're grazing on algae. But the Phoenix Islands is the world's largest World Heritage Site. It's a remote atoll archipelago in the Central Pacific. There's 8 islands there. They're uninhabited. There's a group that thinks Amelia Earhart crashed there, and she may have. But the underwater life is just fabulous. In this small country, the country of Kiribati, has made it a protected area, and the UNESCO crowned it the world's largest World Heritage Site last year. So this tool is just, I just love being able to go all over the world with this thing and explore. It's quite amazing. I have an article in this month's National Geographic on seamounts, and this tool helps you see the seamounts, which are probably the most important geological feature on the planet, yet nobody knows about them. There's more mountains in the ocean than are on land, and I'm really very interested in working more in this arena.
And can you maybe point to the map and show, like, here we have Kiribati, and where exactly the rough Phoenix Islands are?
The Phoenix Islands are over here, and there's Kiribati is broken up into 3 island groups. There's the Line Islands over here, there's the Phoenix Islands here, and then there's the Gilbert Islands over here. And they are the largest atoll nation in the world, control an area of ocean almost the size of the continental United States. And they're called small island developing states, but they really should be called giant ocean states. And the future, I think, of the planet, really, in the ocean, certainly depends on these guys. So the PIPA are these 8 islands here, and there's actually 2 more in the archipelago, Howland and Baker, that are owned by the United States. And Hillary Clinton just 2 weeks ago pledged to create a combined area management plan for the 8 islands that belong to Kiribati and 2 islands that belong to the U.S. And these really are, they're part of the biogeography here. In other words, the eggs that come out of the reef at the coral can basically land on all these islands, so they really should be managed together. The coral spawn can't get over here, it's just too far, so that's why it's important.
Great. That's really fantastic to hear about. Can you tell us a little bit more about heritage sites and what they are and how they're important?
Yeah, UNESCO is an institution within the UN, and they have a program to designate special places on the planet. They can either be special places for cultural reasons, like the Taj Mahal is a World Heritage Site, for example, or it can be a World Heritage Site for natural reasons, for natural history reasons. And the Phoenix Islands is for natural history. Although it's possible in the future there's a lot of history there that could be combined to make it a cultural site as well. And it's a way to preserve things that we have on this very small planet. It's a way to recognize special events, not events, but special buildings and sites and places. There's a glacier in New Zealand that's a World Heritage Site. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. You should go on the web. But they're trying to get more marine sites, all right? So marine is the future for UNESCO. They really want to do that.
Jenifer, you mentioned the oceans layer and how there's various stories and various points of interest that has information on them. Is there any way for people at home to actually, if they have either imagery or stories, to actually add that to the oceans layer or explore the ocean?
Yeah, so Sylvia Earle's Mission Blue Foundation has a curator, Charlotte Vick, who
She was here.
Yeah, she was just here, who moderates users and contributors to basically give them a login, give some feedback on how they might go ahead and contribute, and sort of reviews the content that gets submitted, so that there's a sort of scientific and quality overview. And she's worked closely with many partners, including, this is from the Smithsonian Ocean Portal, and we're always looking for more contributors who have photos, videos, and stories to annotate the ocean and bring it to life for everyone. And she has a searchable version on her site, sylviaearlealliance.org/Google Earth, and you can actually search by keywords for Phoenix Islands, butterfly fish, whale sharks. My son loves great white sharks and poisonous jellyfish. So it's a great educational tool and can be used by anyone at home or on their mobile phones. This layer is also available on the Google Earth app on the iPhone, iPad, Android phone, and Android tablets. So you can turn it on and then explore when you're out traveling.
Hey, Jerry, have you or your colleagues added anything to that layer yet?
We have, actually. Dr. Pat Halpin, who's my advisor and director of our lab, was quite involved in some of the earlier designs with Google Oceans, and when they initially started filling in sort of a lot of the gaps that they had on Google Earth for the marine environments. And then we also work quite a bit with MPAs, and there's a number of ways to mine spatial data, distributional data out of some of these layers and begin to do ecological analyses with the information that's stored in there.
Yeah, we have a sense of submarine life layer that you can turn on from within the ocean folder, and that we did in partnership with your lab, and we love that. It's a great way for people to learn about what life lives in the ocean.
What life lives in it and where it lives it. And I think, you know, our lab is firmly believe in just the concept and the ability of maps to allow people deeper understandings of areas and species communities. And so it's a really, really cool tool for us, both as researchers and just interested public.
Well, you know, that's actually what the Blue Ocean Film Festival is all about, is connecting various people with various technologies and media who care about the ocean and want to promote ocean conservation. You know, we are past the half-hour mark, so I'm going to allow people to say their last things that they'd like to say about the Blue Ocean Film Festival. First of all, I'd like to go to Ken.
Well, Monterey Bay is one of the rich marine regions in the world. We're so glad to have so many great minds, so many people who care so much about the ocean here this week. And I hope people will stay connected with Monterey through the ocean layer, through visits to Monterey, through connections with our research institutions, and come away inspired and ready to do even more.
Thank you very much for that. Jerry, any last words?
Yeah, may the winds always be your back, and hug a scientist today.
There's plenty here to hug. Back to Don and to Jenifer and Greg.
Well,
Okay.
all I can say is if you're not here, you're missing a lot, and put it on your to-do list for next year, your bucket list, because, well, year after. This is every 2 years, so be sure and come. This is a super outing. If you have any interest in the oceans, it can be certainly fulfilled by being in this place. And it's not too crowded. It's a very nice venue. Walk outside and you can see the sea otters and smell the Pacific and see the kelp beds, or stay in here and see a lot of great imagery and hear a lot of great conversations. So come on down.
Oh, let's get one more picture, please.
And we just want to thank everyone for joining us in this hangout, and we look forward to continuing to make the ocean a better virtual representation for anyone to explore in Google Earth and Google Maps.
Greg, any last words?
Thanks, everybody.
And check back on Mission Blue for updates and for new live hangouts that will be happening throughout the week where you can virtually come to Monterey.
And we want to thank Greg Stone for joining us here impromptu from Sea High.
No, definitely big thanks to all of our participants, Greg, Don. You know, we want to also definitely thank Jerry and Ken and everybody who participated in this. Hopefully, we can see everybody who's viewing this at the festival. If not, pay attention to not only the Mission Blue feeds, but also the Blue Ocean Film Festival feeds, our Facebook, our Google+, our Twitter, and you can find various ways to participate both locally and remotely and virtually with this awesome festival. Thank you very much, and hope to see you guys around soon.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Right home.